Hello to you. I'm Jessie Johnson. This is physics, modern physics, the second level of 4 levels of physics. There are 4 levels to physics: classical, modern, Tesla, and Johnson. Each level is more advanced in sequence than the other, but each overlap to the one more advanced than it. To overlap means to accept virtually everything one level has found and learned from its own specific standpoint, and to add to it more detail and comprehension without destroying it or overriding its founded knowledge. Each level, classical, modern, Tesla, and Johnson, has limitations and a specific way to consider things and is correct from that set of viewpoints and considerations. Each level is right and correct from its own standpoint, but is incomplete. The classical overlaps the modern overlaps Tesla, Tesla overlaps Johnson physics, and Johnson overlaps with trans physics. At each level there will be those people who understand that level and those who don't. If you do not comprehend what you are hearing, then stay at the level you do. We'll start with classical, then modern, then Tesla, then Johnson and trans physics. Each one, classical, modern, and Tesla, will be videos to themselves, but Johnson and trans physics will be a single video to itself, both in one. Now, we'll go to A. Quantum physics, which is a subpart of modern physics, have Planck constants in length, mass, gravity, time, and energy. These are very small quantities indeed. Quantities which cannot be physically measured by any known means or imagined means. But it is taken as almost a fact. Now, B. The universal medium gives particles their mass. An aspect of that medium is the Higgs field. Now we'll go to phenomena range, C. Classical physics range of phenomena, the maximum speed is velocity equals 27.5 thousand miles per second, which is a non-relativistic speeds. Also, 10 to the 0th power of volts to 10 to the 9th power of volts, 10 to the 0th power of amps to 10 to the 9th amps, 10 to the 9th power of amps, 10 to the 0th power of Gauss, a measure of magnetic strength, to 10 to the 9th power of Gauss per cubic inch. And another measurement is 3 degrees above absolute zero. The modern physics range for phenomena is the maximum speed. Velocity is 186,271 miles per second. This is an average because of the relativity matter of modern physics. Also, 10 to the 0th power in volts to 10 to the 15th power in volts, 10 to the 0th power in amps to 10 to the 15th power in amps, 10 to the 0th power in Gauss to 10 to the 15th power in Gauss inch cube, and 10 to the minus 9th degree above absolute zero. Let us continue. Now, for modern physics, all there is fields, composed of fields, indefinitely. Number 2, everything is energy. Energy is motion. No motion, no energy, in the context of physics. Number 3, change is spatial, positional, and temporal, transformational. Number 4, mass is equal to the effect of the spin rate of some subatomic fields of the proton and neutron fields. Number 5, mass is equal to the density of energy per volume. 6, mass is equal to the field relations and field interlock, interwoven, intertwined, interpermeating. 7, mass can be decoupled in matter-antimatter interactions. 8, mass inertia can be lessened in the extreme voltage and electromagnetic fields. A field is an area of patterns, objects, forces, energies, finite, enclosed, specific, complex area. Also, spatial division of activity, subjects or operations and events. Also, a space on and of which something is designed, patterned, projected, containing something in a region or volume of effects, groups of elements. Also, a complex of forces, masses, with purposes and reasons. Let us continue, please. Modern physics. Modern physics uses the field model. Electrical charge alters the space around it by creating an electric field. A charge brought into this field, a force brought into this field reacts to a force due to that field. This is where space is not Euclidean. And because Euclidean space is non-alterable, when space itself is considered alterable, you speak of the ether unknowingly. Modern physics contains charge fields, magnetic fields, electric fields, electromagnetic fields without charge, such as light. B, electric fields. Electric fields are affected by magnetic fields and vice versa. We'll go to D. Time, space are relative, dependent on observer's motion and velocity. Number 1, classical physics is at the macro level, M-A-C-R-O, at the macro level of clocks, stopwatches, meter sticks, and yardsticks. Modern physics, on the other hand, is at the atomic level. Number 3, relativity is about space, time, and the propagation of light. B, 3B. Okay, let's go to B. There's no clear distinction in modern physics between waves and particles. This is quantum physics, a subpart of modern physics. Let's go to C. An inertial reference frame is a frame that moves relative to each other at a constant same velocity. This is special relativity. D, Galileo's relativity. The laws of physics depends on the relative motion of the observers. Let's go to E. Modern physics has 2 types of reference frames: inertial reference frames and moving reference frames, or non-inertial reference frames. Let's go to F. An inertial reference frame is such as the reference frame of the Earth that you are on. Let's go to G. All observers at rest share the same reference frame. Let's go to H. Galileo's principle of relativity. Newton's laws of motion are valid in all inertial reference frames. Einstein's principle of relativity. All laws of physics are the same in all inertial reference frames. We'll go to I now. The speed of light in January is different from the speed of light in July by about 2 meters per second. The speed of light is therefore relative. For general purposes, though, it is considered to have one average speed of 186,271 miles per second. We'll go to J. Relativity is relative in the sense of different variables or values, no matter how close these variables and values may be. We'll go to K. Mechanical, there are several reference frames. There is the mechanical reference frames, such as inertial reference frame and non-inertial reference frames of Galileo and Einstein. There's also the existential reference frame, where all that exists now exist simultaneously. Also, there is the excluded middle reference frame. Is it either it is or it's not. Either it happened or it didn't. There is also the absolute reference frame, which is not based on the human race or any living thing or the universe itself. It's still absolute. L, let's go to L. Actual time of an event is before you see it, before you hear it, and so forth by a split second. Let's continue. We'll go to S. There are two ways now to calculate momentum. A, the classical physics form, which is non-relativistic, and the modern physics form of relativity. Number 7, photons have no mass. One type of photon have no mass, but is only energy in motion. We'll go to W. We'll go to U. Creation and annihilation of mass. Mass is energy, kinetic, rest, and potential energy. And energy is conserved, but mass need not be in modern physics. V, let's go to V. Rest and velocity frames, relativity, non-relative, depends on the motion of the observer for calculating time and space. We'll go to W. Classical physics, modern physics, Tesla physics, and Johnson physics are vast, but incomplete. Modern physics phenomena range, once again, 10 to the 0th volts to 10 to the 15th power of volts, 10 to the 0th power of amps to 10 to the 15th power of amp, 10 to the 0th power of Gauss to 10, a measure of magnetic field strength, to 10 to the 10 to the 15th power of Gauss per cubic inch. Now, let's go to number 1. The universe is a net, N-E-T, net product of more of one thing than another. Number 2, modern physics has 6 dimensions: point, line, plane, volume, field, ether. Modern physics, once again. Number 1, time is an emission and absorption of electromagnetic radiation. Time expands as a quantized set of wavefronts. Objects produce their own space-time relatively, and with a single set as a whole for the whole universe. Geometrical time is electron-photon couplings. Each wavefront is quantized at the 4 Planck constant levels. Excuse me, Planck, spell P-L-A-N-C-K. Now, let's go to the next one, number 2. Gravity is not a force, but a field reaction to the actions of positive, negative, and neutral charge systems, of electric fields and magnetic fields and neutral fields. Hence, since mass attracts mass fields, every form of mass is attracted and moves to the surface of another mass. Larger forms of mass attract smaller forms of mass. This is why gravity, which is considered to exist in modern physics, has only one single polarity. Modern physics. Relativity. Number 1. Relativity. Light speed has more than one speed. The average is considered to be 186,271 miles per second. Space in modern physics is twistable, variable, and so forth. The constant of gravity is non-constant and relative also in modern physics. Number 2, entropy entropy. Entropy has no anti-entropy in modern physics. Entropy means the overwhelming physical tendency for ordered systems to become disordered. Anti-entropy means the overwhelming physical tendency for disordered systems to become ordered. In modern physics, there is no way to produce order. Therefore, there is no way to produce the real universe. Number three, modern physics uses classical physics force formula of F equals mass times acceleration. This is a prelude to fields of electromagnetic, electrogravitic, electroetheric, mass fields, etc. We'll go to number 4. Mass is equal to energy density. Mass equals the field energy density of interlocked field states. Number 5, gravity do not exist, but the Earth's field and the universal field do. Number 6, positive fields and negative fields and neutral fields. Earth's fields and the universal fields, the causes of it is partially known. Number 7, Bell's theorem. Bell's theorem of instantaneity is acceptable in modern physics. Number 8, objects that has high spin and rotation do not fall at the exact same rate because of inertia. Hence, gravity is relative. Also, 7.1. Now, voltage fields of 10 to the 6th power to 10 to the 15th power of volts. All universal processes is simultaneous and instantaneous and one. The universe is the set of all processes. The universe itself as a total whole, as we know it from a modern physics standpoint, is a process. Number 9, time is equal to the process of complex energy changes and field states. Number 10, all systems, objects, particles, atoms, photons, waves, entities, things, processes, etc. radiate energy. You yourself are a radiating set of field systems. You radiate energy in every direction. You are a mass of radiating energy systems in several different radiating states. We'll go to number 2. Mitchell-Morrison did not disprove the ether in their experiment. What they disproved was the ether wind, because the earth is not rotating and also the earth is not revolving, of which both of which are physically impossible. Now, number 3, inertia is equal to the electric charge and its fields and its contoured fields. Let's continue, please. Anisotropy. Anisotropy. Anisotropy of one-way speed of light in the Earth frame is based on an errored assumption of the slow clock transport procedure, which allows exact synchronization. This is not the case, except in classical physics, which sees such from a classical physics viewpoint. We'll go to 12a. Light speed was first revealed as 141,000 miles per second. Then, later on, it was considered 182,000 miles per second. And several other miles per second. Then it was averaged to 186,271 miles per second. We'll go to B. Light speed varies with the seasons, cycles of 2 weeks, and is relative. Let's go to C. The gravitational constant is not constant, but relative because of electromagnetic properties. E. Gravity, so-called, and the electrical interact under dynamic conditions instead of static conditions. We'll go to F. Gravity, which does not exist, but for clarity purposes in modern physics is the spatial reaction to the actions of electric and magnetic fields and mass fields. G. Matter plus and minus charges, protons and electrons, and neutron fields is what makes up matter. H. Mass is a field. I. A mass field falls toward lower electrical potential. We'll go to 35. Light, electromagnetic radiation that is, has mass and mass effects, which slows down the speed of the electromagnetic radiation because it has mass. Let us continue. 43. Mass equals the compacted energy in modern physics within a volume. Mass is equal to the compacted energy fields within a volume. Number 52. The base laws do not change, but variables and values do within those ranges of laws. Light as well as the Earth's field force. Now, let's go to 53. Everything is relative in modern physics to the reference frames used and the application of those frames. Let's go to 58. Inertia changes with electrical properties. Systems in charged states have more resistance to acceleration toward other masses. Number 59. Inertia, gravity, and energy are different sides of the same thing. Number 70. Stress on the space fabric cannot be equalized by the flowing magnetism current flow through the UFO's craft as a circuit. Therefore, the space fabric collapses and provides magnetism to relieve the stress. But the energy byproducts from this is absorbed by the UFO's generating system, which reinforces the field. The UFO's generator produces a flux along the electrical field lines. The direction of flux is at the positive field and out at the negative field. This type of field and the net effect of the craft's field plus the Earth's field gives rise to a flux field density under the craft, higher than above it. Acceleration becomes enormous. The craft is repelled from the Earth's field without inertia, but with energy. The craft do not travel through space, but as space. Number 79. Atoms are rotating force fields. Number 91. Thus a reciprocal action between electromagnetism and the Earth's field, which is a mass of elementary particles and their resonances. The Earth's field is a secondary field. 100. Number 100. Atomic force of bodies made of units of positive and negative forces. Bring it into the M-A-C-R-O, the macroscopic material plane. Let's go to 106. The Earth's field is the opposite reaction to atoms radiating quantized spherical wave fronts of electromagnetic radiation. 107. Compacted energy equals mass as contoured fields radiates out in a spherical form. 108. Atomic sets creates their own space-time magnetic fields and electric fields, which are made from this. That was A. Let's go to B. Atoms distort the space geometry, making time variations relative between and within the very systems. Let's go to C. When one field changes, it induces the other fields to change. D. Electric fields is created by time forward momentum. 111. Space is energy, and the Earth's field is a secondary force field to the electromagnetic force field. The Earth's field and electromagnetic field both share the inverse square law. Number 112. Energy exchange equals the speed of light squared. The Earth's field is not a force per se, but an acceleration due to mass fields attracting mass fields. 113. Mass can be neutralized. The energy composing it cannot. I want to thank, not yet. Let's continue. 115. The atoms, electrons, protons, neutrons, are extreme. Each part, high frequency vibrations, high speed spins and rotations, and interlockings. Number 116. This is a matter of modern physics. Number 116. Space can be affected, warpable, malleable, twistable, bendable by large masses. 117. Space is physical and has physical traits. 118. Some parts of space are more dense than others. 119. It is impossible to separate from space things, yourself, and processes. 120. The ether is inextricably connected and intertwined with space. 121. It is impossible to separate physically time and space. 122. It is impossible to separate to separate space and ether. Ether moves with space. 123. Modern physics overlaps Tesla physics when modern physics uses fields, which is ether, which is used to define physics, activities, and complexities. I want to thank everyone for listening and watching. Please share this video and have a very, very fine day. I will see you on the next third level of physics, which is Tesla physics. Thank you and have